Seguindo os passos do irmão e maior detetive da literatura, Enola Holmes conquistou o coração de fãs e jovens detetives pelo mundo na pele de Millie Bobby Brown, e agora retorna para as telas com uma história mais madura e muita quebra da quarta parede, assim como no primeiro filme. Para falar um pouco sobre Enola Holmes 2, que estreia na Netflix no dia 4 de novembro, eu conversei com o Sherlock Holmes em pessoa, Henry Cavill, e o diretor do filme, Harry Bradbeer. Mas antes, deixa aqui o seu like no vídeo, se inscreva no canal e pegue sua lupa para desvendar os mistérios de Enola Holmes. Elementar, meus caros omeleteiros. Well, you already played an iconic character from literature, from the comics and video games. There is any other role you dream to play?
Oh, goodness me. There's so many fun roles out there, whether it's history or sci-fi. Maybe I'll try my hand at some sci-fi next. Who knows?
One of the scenes that went viral from the first movie was that one where Sherlock says he's not very interested in politics. Of course, the new movie is very political, since it takes place in Met Girls' strike, so do you think working with his sister, Enola, changes anything about how Sherlock sees the world?
I think it definitely changes things about how he sees the world. His antipathy towards politics it's reflective of the time as well. He, in the first movie, for example, he is sympathetic to Enola's viewpoint and his mother's viewpoint, but he doesn't have the right perspective. Even though he's sympathetic, Enola and his mother still teach him about what it's really like to be in that position. And so even though he says he doesn't care about politics, it's not that he doesn't care about, say, Enola's strife or the strife of women of that era. He does, but it's more about the machine that is politics, and that's something which he doesn't respond to. And Enola definitely teaches him the importance of realizing that you can't do everything yourself. And I think that's something which is alien to Sherlock until we find him in probably halfway through, maybe at the end of this second movie.
Enola Holmes 2 takes place in this important historical episode, the Met Girls' strike. Why is this strike particularly important for the story you want to tell?
Well, I think we wanted to tell a story of sisterhood. We wanted to tell a story that brought Enola into contact with girls from a different background, a very different world. And we wanted to make that world very challenging for her, and a dirtier world than the one that she'd inhabited in Ferndale, where she grew up. We were working towards a story that would involve interacting with that East End sisterhood. And then we hit upon, as we looked through the history of the period, the matchstick factory strike of 1888. And it started to fit in right with our intentions and give us meaning and direction for the story that was about union and freedom and justice.
How was it to work with a more mature version of Enola?
It's fun because it's a complete role reversal for Sherlock and Enola. In the first movie, Enola is being guided by Sherlock to a degree. He's giving her pearls of wisdom and he's being a catalyst for her growth. And in the second movie, it's the opposite. She is guiding him, she's providing him with wisdom, and she is the catalyst for his growth.
We get to see in these two movies that Enola is full of personality, and she even influences the way Sherlock behaves. Do you guys plan to make Enola an icon to this generation, just like her brother?
Completely, because it's making the second film allowed us for her to grow up as Millie was growing up, and also to do what I know the audience really wanted, was to bring her and Sherlock together in answering a mystery. And it was, again, in this idea of theme of sisterhood, she has to learn to work with others to really succeed. It's not good enough just for her to stand on her own 2 feet. So those things all dovetailed into one story and helped to build two really complex plots that intersected and left Enola and Sherlock working it out together.
Do you think you have more freedom right now to play these characters the way you personally prefer? For example, Sherlock Holmes that's not so gloomy, a more joyful Superman, as you said before. Do you feel you have more input right now to make these iconic characters something that's yours?
I think it all depends on, I mean, yes, to a degree, but the importance for me is my role in a in a movie. For example, for Superman, I will be a lead. And so, yes, there is a lot more in the way of discussion with the other collaborators on the movie to work out the tone and where we're going. And it's following that character's story. However, for Enola Holmes, I'm playing Sherlock as a supporting character. And so it's important that I support Enola's journey and the journey of the movie. And that's the primary concern. And then after that, I can start putting in the things that I want to put in for the character. And Harry and Millie have always been very collaborative on that point and always very generous. But it's always been, as I say, a collaboration because we're working together so my character can support Enola's story and the movie as a whole.
Is there anything about Sherlock you play that you think is missing, something you do differently?
I don't necessarily think there should be anything different. I think, again, for me, how I'm playing this character, it's important that I'm supportive of, I'm doing my job as a support character and as a supporting actor. And so I don't think anyone wants to remove anything from the character or anything from the essence of the character. I think it's trying to stay true to the character that Nancy Springer provides and making sure that it amplifies the storytelling and the messages in the storytelling.
After watching the movie, I have a feeling we can expect more Enola and other iconic characters of Sherlock Holmes universe in the future. Am I right?
Only time will tell. There's no way of telling just yet. That'll be a great question for the producers. But yeah, watch this space. You never know.
E aí, você gostou do primeiro Enola Holmes? Tá a fim de assistir o novo filme? Conta aqui pra gente nos comentários e deixa também o seu like, se inscreva no canal e a gente se vê no próximo vídeo. Beijo!